This is not a big surprise, but I am a fisherman. If you know me, like, I have always just lived to fish. That's what I do. Like, I mean, we grew up north of O'Neill, and the Blackbird Creek runs through our property, and my mom's now. And I don't even think I was in kindergarten, or I wasn't even that. I don't know how old, but I can just remember just always being down there. And back then, we didn't have fishing poles like we do now, but you didn't need them. You just made them out of sticks, and you put some fishing line and some hooks, and then dug some worms. It's like a whole day process, by the time you do that and you're a kid. And finally get down there like you're catching minnows, and it's just awesome. And put them in my dad's stock tank, and then the cool thing is then you could fish out of the stock tank too. So if you didn't have time to go down to the creek, you could just fish right there, which is just awesome. And then, once I got old enough, my Uncle Merlin's got a farm pond, and my cousin Kent's got a farm pond, and my dad's got a farm. I was always like just going around just catching. Like, it wasn't about the catching. It was just like the fishing part is what I really like. And I just have always wanted just to be a fisherman. And it's not the catching. Like, I've got pictures of like big, small. That's not what it's all about. It is like you never know what's going to happen. And what you always just need to do is just like always cast your line. Now, I don't know that much about fishing, but I know like whenever you're not going to catch, I'm not catching any fish right now. Like I have to be out fishing. You have to show up to catch fish. And that's like the biggest thing that I always tell like all our staff and us, like we have to show up. Like those street kids, God wants to work in their lives, and the people at the dump, God wants to work in their life, but it's not going to happen probably until we show up with 25 chickens and start loving on these people. Like that's always like the biggest thing. Just show up and just always be a fisherman. I don't have it all figured out. I don't want to have it all figured out. I don't want to be one of those professional guys on TV that it's like, yeah, you do this and this. It's like a science. Like, no, if I get to that point, I want to like not get to that point. I just want to be a kid again on the Blackbird Creek, dropping a worm in the water, and I don't know what's going to happen. You're just like waiting for something to happen. That's what it means, I believe, to be like just a Christian who just believes God to bring in like end results. Like you just like show up in people's lives and just expect God to work and just wait for him to work and don't have it all figured out. That's my challenge to us, is just to always show up. And I think there's always situations, always places that God's calling us to, and it's hard. Like the hardest thing for us is actually getting up to Winnebago and knowing that God had been calling me for years to go up there, and Danny for years. And it's like, okay, just go up there and be willing to fail. And just like, we don't know what we're doing. We're just like showing up, with a guitar and a fire and a vision to start a youth group at this point, And but I think that's the encouragement I wanted to give you, is to like always just show up. Like don't stop showing up even though it gets tough. And even though, because it's not about the results. It's not about the catching the fish. It's actually just being a fisherman. That's what it means to be a Christian to me.